When we think of the American Civil War, we often picture Union and Confederate soldiers clashing in bloody battles or leaders like Abraham Lincoln and Jefferson Davis debating freedom and slavery. But what about the Native Americans? Their involvement in the Civil War is a chapter of history that remains lesser known, yet it's filled with complex decisions, personal struggles, and lasting consequences. By the time the Civil War began, many Native American tribes had already been significantly affected by U.S. policies. The 5 civilized tribes Cherokee, Creek, Seminole, Chickasaw, and Choctaw had been forcibly removed from their lands and relocated to Indian Territory, now Oklahoma. These tribes had long-standing grievances against the federal government, which led many of them to side with the Confederacy. After all, many of these tribes had economies dependent on slavery, and the Confederacy seemed to offer a more favorable stance. The Civil War did not just create divisions between Native American tribes, it tore families apart. Many Native Americans found themselves fighting on opposite sides of the war. In the Creek tribe, for example, some members supported the Confederacy while others, led by the chief Apathiahala, sided with the Union. This internal conflict was devastating, with families divided and communities fractured. As the war raged on, Native American lands became battlegrounds. The Confederacy's Native American allies engaged in guerrilla tactics and fought alongside Confederate soldiers, but they were often outmatched by the larger Union forces. The Union Army launched a major offensive into Indian Territory, aiming to secure the area and prevent Confederate reinforcements. One of the most notable figures among the Confederate-aligned Native Americans was Stand Watie, a Cherokee leader. Watie's tactical brilliance made him a significant force in the Confederate Army. His skill in guerrilla warfare and ability to lead raids against Union supply lines earned him a promotion to brigadier general, making him the highest-ranking Native American officer in the Confederate Army. After the war ended, the Native American tribes that had allied with the Confederacy were left to face devastating consequences. The federal government, now controlled by former Union generals, forced these tribes to sell much of their land at reduced prices. The tribes were also forced to free their enslaved people, which caused economic turmoil, especially for tribes like the Cherokee, where slavery had been a major part of their economy. The personal cost of the Civil War was immense, particularly for families torn apart by differing loyalties. The split between Union and Confederate sympathies within Native American families mirrored the broader divisions in society, leaving lasting emotional scars. The American Civil War left deep scars, not just in the South or the North, but also in the Native American communities. Divided, dispossessed, and devastated, these tribes never fully recovered from the effects of the war. The repercussions of their involvement in the war continued for generations, with many forced to live on reservations, their cultures and ways of life forever altered.